Hello everyone, this is Hades at Hades Gaming, back today with another video playing some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and some new information has actually just come out about the next Modern Warfare, so I figured we would talk about that today in this video, kind of speculate, and really, discuss whether these rumors are true or not. First of all, if you've seen the thumbnail, you know that the cover art features a gentleman wearing a night vision goggle, like kind of headpiece, and he is predominantly the representation of the multiplayer within the next Call of Duty. And what that means is that there will be day and night cycles in Call of Duty Modern Warfare's new multiplayer. What that means is basically it might actually start during the day, it might start at night. It all just depends on when you join the game. Now, the next thing is that when this tweet came out, it was actually by a Chinese YouTuber. He actually said around April 23rd, which was way before any of these events happened, any of this information came out about the next Modern Warfare, that it was not Modern Warfare 4. And upon further investigation, he actually decided to release certain information to us in a different language because of the fact that his post was taken down on Reddit. Now, what he actually discusses is the multiplayer, the season pass, the campaign, and a whole slew of other information. So let's get to the multiplayer first. Multiplayer will be heavily accessorized. In other words, there will be more than enough attachments for you to use in try different combinations and things like that. So it should make your loadouts new and interesting each time you play with it. And with the night cycle actually coming out, it might actually be a little bit more heavily based on using your night vision goggles. If you remember, in Modern Warfare, there was the night vision goggles set that you had to use in certain campaign missions, but you never really had to use it in multiplayer. It was just kind of like a thing that was there. You didn't really have to touch it too much. But, if it's in multiplayer, I think it's going to be more tactical than anything else when you're using it. I think that people are going to overuse it sometimes, but that's entirely up to the player. You play how you want. I mean, I'm not a camping fan, but you can play how you want. It's your game. You spending the money, whatever it is. Which actually leads us into the next thing. Now, the Season Pass itself may very well be free. In other words, there won't be a Season Pass model for this game. You'll just be able to play all the new maps when they come out if you buy the original game. I know we talked about in my last video in 2020 that Call of Duty, the next Call of Duty Black Ops 5 would actually be free to play, and that just made me really happy, but it doesn't look like that's what they're going to go with this year. So if we continue on here, the campaign will be set within the Modern Warfare universe, but will not directly link in with the original characters that we know of and that we have seen over the years within the different Modern Warfare games. Now, this makes me happy, but at the same time, it kind of makes me a little sad. It does say that there will be the characters in the game, but they really won't play a prominent role. I think you'll just speak to them a couple of times. And with all of this information put together, I think that this year's Call of Duty is actually going to be pretty damn good. I think that it's going to be a lot like Ghosts in its time to kill. I think it's going to be a lot like Ghosts in its maps. I just think that this is kind of what we needed. We needed a reboot. I mean, they've been rebooting series and movies and superhero stuff for a long time now, and I think a fresh Modern Warfare and a new take on the Modern Warfare world might be exactly what the Call of Duty universe needs and what its player base needs. They did heavily emphasize the fact that this next cover art very well may be a heavy blue kind of thing. If you actually look at the cover art that I have on the thumbnail, it actually looks pretty legit and pretty real, but then again, all of the information I have given you so far may be scrapped completely once these rumors and leaks go out. So you might want to look at this with a grain of salt, but it looks like this Chinese person, this gamer, he actually seems pretty credible and pretty correct, because even the most recent tweets from various YouTubers have said that it's not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Even I believe David Schreier or something like that, he actually decided to say that it's not Modern Warfare 4, and he's very credible, and he's straight from Kotaku. So the fact is that if you look at all of this, if you really take it in, it all sounds perfectly legitimate, especially within the current climate of the Battle Pass system, that with Black Ops 4 you just had to buy the Black Ops Pass, and that was a miserable failure. A lot of people still refuse to buy it. So, I mean, It all makes sense. If you really look at it for what it is, it all makes sense. Using the night vision goggles has always been a very prominent part of the Modern Warfare universe. If you actually go to any title screen, especially Modern Warfare 3, that's like a night vision goggle lighting up when you actually see the main screen. But it also makes sense because, as I said before, you never used them in the multiplayer maps. You never did that. Now, if they added a night cycle to this game, I think that it would switch up a hell of a lot of things. They even added a couple night modes within Black Ops 4, which, again, points it in a credible direction, because if they're going to use night cycles in one game, why wouldn't they use it in another? Now, as far as the accessories for Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare, I believe that we should have the basic ones from the original Modern Warfares with a few, tweaks around there. They shouldn't be the same weapons as before, because as the years go by in the real world, new weapons are developed and new weapons are made. So I think if we used a little bit more of those, that would be perfect. If we were actually using a drone instead of an attack helicopter, or if we were using something a little bit more advanced, like white phosphorus is a dangerous chemical that people have actually used on combatants in the real world. If you don't know what that is, I suggest you look that up. It's terrible, but at the same time, it's a very interesting biological agent. Now, nobody has actually used that chemical in warfare purposes, but it is launched as a kind of like a beacon in war. But, as I said before, just add some new elements to it. Throw in some biological weapons. Throw in some, maybe some tear gas. Because in Ghosts, we did use the tear gas in the campaign, but we didn't really use it within the game itself, like with the multiplayer and everything like that. Add some customization, and it should be an all-around very solid game if you look at it from all of this different angles and different perspective, especially with the fact that there's just so much evidence pointing in this guy's direction. I have every reason to believe him and every reason to trust him. He's just, he's been right so far, and he has evidence of past games to back it up. So I will actually leave the tweets down there in the description. You can translate them for yourself if you'd like to. And, the cover art image was actually taken down, so I had to go out and look for it myself. But, there's that too. Anyway, guys, what are you thinking about all this information? What are you thinking about the next Modern Warfare? And do you think ultimately that it needs a reboot and that all this information is correct? And tell me if you don't think it's correct and why you don't think it's correct down in the comments section below. I would love to have a conversation with you about this. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. It looks like it's going to be a great year for Call of Duty. This is Hades Gaming signing off. Have a good one.